and that's the problem. But like I said, what they did was, well, I'll go back to, let me tell you what the county limits are right now. The county limits right now is 15% for a wartime veteran. Okay, that means a wartime veteran means that it's a veteran that could be stateside, but it was during the war. Mm-hmm. Okay, $18,000 cap. The next one is combat zone veterans, which means you were in combat. You get 10% with a $30,000 cap. The last one is a disability rating. You get 50% of the disability rating with a $60,000 cap. That's what we have right now. The law was passed years ago, and nobody knew at that time what the effect was going to be. Like they don't know today. But the Cold War veteran is going to be a lot less than 14,000 veterans. What he did was, he had to come up with a number. He's assuming maybe 6,000 veterans, Cold War veterans, okay? And he ran a scenario with 6,000 Cold War veterans. Then of course again, then they said, okay, it will be 10 times as much, which is really, like I said at the meeting, I said, let's not get a stratosphere because it's not going to be 60,000 Cold War veterans out there. There's only 220,000 people in the county.
Right.
So I mean, you know, that's what one of the concerns were. But they were just trying to figure out some number, what the effect would be on 6,000 Cold War veterans. Okay, my original proposal was for 15% exemption with a 15,000 cap. I don't remember the plan I had. It's either 12,000 or 15,000.
Did it parallel the state legislation?
I'm sorry?
Did it parallel the state legislation?
It's exactly the same bill.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same bill. And well, you do have a choice. You know, you do. Here's the bill right here. I think I put down $12,000. Okay, I put down a cap of $12,000. But at last night at the meeting, I said, I'm looking at this, and I said, look, I don't know what the effect is going to be. Nobody knows what the effect is going to be. So Bill budgeted 3 different scenarios: option A, option B, option C. So I went for option C. I told him I want to go for option C. Option C is a 10% exemption with a cap of $4,000. Okay, that's all. Now the tax rate shift would be, if you had a home that's assessed for $100,000, it would cost you $2 a year more.
Oh, so to pick up.
To pick up the Cold War veterans.
Okay.
Based on 6,000 Cold War veterans. And we don't, and there's other unknowns. Number one, we don't know if the 6,000 is the correct number.
Right.
Number two, say if it was 6,000, we don't know if 3,000 are ready. We don't know if 1,000 on loans. See, so many unknowns. So we had to, just basically pick a number, and that's what the biggest. That's why they wanted to. They wanted to table it, but then I kind of debated, got them out of it, and then they're going to move it to the legislature meeting, have a committee meeting at that time, and they wanted Don Thompson to come in with a better number. I talked to him personally before this whole thing happened. He said, I don't know.
So you don't know if it'd be flooded with people who would take advantage, if it'd be more than that 6,000 hypothetical number, or if it would be less than that?
Nobody, he doesn't know, and I tried to convey that. So that's why I went for the lowest possible
dollar
amount. I could have went for option A. If you want to capture this idea, I could have went for option A, which would have been a 15% exemption with an $8,000 50% exemption with a $12,000 cap. I could have went for that.
What's the head on tax there?
That 15. would be $7 at the end of the year for $100,000.
Would it be better to aim high and then hope it comes in low instead of starting with a low number and hoping?
Well, knowing the politics involved,
Right, you just want to get it in.
I want to get it in, and then we could review it the following year, and we can make an amendment to the local law. But for me to try to get this thing in, I gotta try to shoot low, because,
So it's a different mentality than what you would normally practice as far as aim high and if it comes in low.
I'm aiming low, and then, you know, I talked over with Bill Budd, and, I mean, the $2 for $100,000 house at the end of the year is a small price to pay there.
Do you think you'll have to start coming up with other ways to make this happen, maybe by cutting people, cutting services? I mean, if this is something you feel strongly about, and they're not willing to charge people, I believe they charge for other things, but it doesn't seem like they're willing to do the $2 per.
Well, if they're not willing, I won't have to look it up. I think, well,
You know what I mean? Are you gonna come up with other scenarios?
I don't think so, Tim. I mean, $2 a year.
You wouldn't have to think so, but
You never know.
unfortunately,
That's something I have to
Per
look at.
$100,000 house.
Assessment, right.
Right.
And for an $80,000 house, it's gonna be less than $2.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, but I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
We've heard a lot about, $30 more per house because of the AES pilot. We have this exemption for this group, and this exemption for that group, and this exemption for this special group. How about forgetting all the tax breaks and the exemptions and just cutting everybody's rate?
Go back to AES and try to do that too. So
let's just find a way to cut taxes, you know.
Oh, keep AES, keep the pilot there,
Well,
and forget about everybody else.
choices.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I mean, you clearly have objected very strenuously
Yeah.
to the AES thing, but, we're working deals for other groups. What's the difference, for one thing?
Well, the difference for one thing, me personally, is that if it wasn't for the veterans, we wouldn't have AES, and we probably wouldn't be sitting here right today.
So should the county be, in any business of cutting breaks?
Good point, maybe not. Probably New York State, I shouldn't say that. Well, I know one thing, Minnesota doesn't do it, because, Fred Lou says, Minnesota, they don't do it. He says New York State does it. This law, the existing law, I don't know, was done years and years ago, the existing exemptions, but you're right. Let's get rid of all the exceptions, let's get rid of everything, if we could do it. But you'll never be able to do it now that this existing, not my resolution, but the existing laws in effect will not do it. That was done years and years ago.
What's been precedent's been set.
That's the problem, yeah. So that's why I shot for the $2 for a $100,000 house, $1.50 or whatever, it would be for an $80,000 house, or whatever, $75,000 house. So it's not really that, it's a small price to pay to say thank you. So the other comparison I was making before, I'll say it again, is that the existing veterans that were in a combat era are not in combat. These people are just as important to that.
All right, what else?
Okay? Is that okay?
What are you hearing are people's biggest concerns with the county? What are people looking for county government? As you go and talk to people on the street, man, what's it?
Everybody complains about the taxes, there's no question about that. Let's see. Now people complain about Mobile. Some people complain about AES pilot. That's about it.
So you